All right, we've made it to the final step in RMF 2.0. This is the monitor step, and we're jumping right in with task M1, system and environment changes. So this task, we monitor the information system and its environment of operation for changes that impact the security and privacy posture of the system. It's got a lot of potential inputs: the organizational continuous monitoring strategy, the organizational configuration management policy and procedure, organization policy and procedures for handling unauthorized system changes, security and privacy plans, configuration chain request and approvals, system design documentation, security and privacy assessment reports, plans of actions and milestones, information from automated and manual monitoring tools. There are some expected outputs. They include updated security and privacy plans, updated plans of actions and milestones, and updated security and privacy assessment reports. Primary responsibility for this task is the system owner, common control provider, senior agency information security officer, and senior agency official for privacy. They're supported by the senior accountable official for risk management, the risk executive function, the authorizing official, the authorizing official's designated representative, the information owner or information steward, the system security officer, and the system privacy officer. It does align to the SDLC. For a new system, it aligns with operations and maintenance, and for an existing system, it aligns with operations and maintenance. It does align to the cybersecurity framework. First, it aligns with DECM, which is Security Continuous Monitoring. The information system and assets are monitored to identify cybersecurity events and verify the effectiveness of protective measures. It also aligns with ID.gv, governance. The policies, procedures, and processes to manage and monitor the organization's regulatory, risk, legal, environmental, and operational requirements are understood and inform the management of cybersecurity risk. System and environments of operation are in a constant state of change, with changes occurring in the technology or machine elements, human elements, and physical or environmental elements. Changes to the technology or machine elements include, for example, upgrades to hardware, software, or firmware. Changes to the human elements include, for example, staff turnover or a reduction in force. Modifications to the surrounding physical and environmental elements include, for example, changes in the location of the facility or physical access controls protecting the facility. Changes made by external providers can be difficult to detect. A disciplined and structured approach to managing, controlling, and documenting change to systems and environments of operation in adherence with the terms and conditions of the authorization is an essential element in the security and privacy of systems. So those last two slides, we talked about changes that occur to the system, its operation environment, the people that operate it, or changes made by external providers. These things we all have to keep track of. Almost at the point when the system is immediately put into production, changes almost immediately start happening. So there's changes in updates to the baseline, updates to the system as far as patching, or updates to the hardware or the people operating it. As the system owner and the authorizing official, you have to keep track of all those changes and make sure that it stays within the organizational risk parameters. Organizations establish configuration management and control processes to support configuration and change management. System changes and changes to common controls should never happen unless they follow an approved configuration and change management process. Someone should be documenting all the changes and approving changes before anything is changed on the system or common control set. Common activities within organizations can cause changes to systems or environments of operation and can have a significant impact on the security and privacy posture of systems. Examples include installing or disposing of hardware, making changes to configuration, installing patches outside of the established configuration change control process. So we always have to be on the lookout for changes, and we always have to make sure we're documenting them ahead of time, and we're keeping track of all the changes that have been made to the system since its authorization. That way we have a true line that tracks the changes from when the system was authorized to its current state. Unauthorized changes may occur because of purposeful attacks by adversaries or inadvertent errors by authorized personnel. In addition to adhering to the established configuration management processes, organizations monitor for unauthorized changes to systems and analyze information about the unauthorized changes that have occurred to determine the root cause of the unauthorized change. So we can have unauthorized changes that are done by adversaries and possibly people attacking the system, or just done by people that didn't understand the change process well enough. So it's important to determine why the unauthorized change occurred and get to the root cause so that this can be corrected and doesn't continue to happen in the future. In addition to monitoring for unauthorized changes, the organizations continuously monitor systems and environments of operation for any authorized changes that impact the privacy posture of systems. Once the root cause of an unauthorized change or an authorized change that impacts the privacy posture of the system has been determined, organizations respond accordingly, and we'll get to that in task M3. When we respond to these changes, we have to update controls possibly, we have to update documentation, we have to change the way we're processing things based on changes to the system, its personnel, or its operation of environment. For example, if the root cause of an unauthorized change is determined to be an adversarial attack, multiple actions could be taken, such as invoking incident response plans, adjusting intrusion detection and prevention tools and firewall configurations, or implementing additional or stronger controls to reduce the risk of future attacks. If the root cause of an unauthorized change is determined to be a failure of staff to adhere to established configuration management processes, remedial training for certain individuals may be warranted. So depending on what the root cause of the unauthorized change is, there's different tasks we have to undertake. It may just be training because someone didn't know how to properly do a change, or it may be an attack that needs much further investigation and response. References for this task include Special Publications 830, Special Publication 800-128, Special Publication 800-137, and IR 8062. In this module, we discuss task M1, its inputs and outputs, roles and responsibility, SDLC and CSF, lifecycle alignment, the CM strategy, system and environmental changes, external providers changes, configuration management, changes to system or environment, unauthorized changes, monitoring for changes, root cause analysis, and finally references. If any of this doesn't look familiar to you, go back to that part of the video and watch it again. If it all makes sense, on to the next video, or if you're taking the course, on to the course material to further dive into this topic.